Chapter 91 Open Cotton. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 91 Opening Cotton, Purple Fruit Tribe, Jenny's Kitchen. Luo Ning and Horn began to try to cook cocoons. At first, Luo Ning did not think about spinning, but chose to go in the direction of opening cotton. To open the cotton, you need to put soda ash or baking soda into the pot during the cocoon cooking process, but he didn't have these things at the moment, so I had to make some plant ash on site. This stuff is also an alkaline substance. Although it looks a bit darker, it will adhere to the silkworm cocoons after being added to the pot. However, during the cooking process, plant ash will react with the sericin and debris on the cocoons, and can eventually be washed away without staining. Since it was the first time to cook cocoons, Luo Ning only selected a dozen cocoons to try. He first removed the floating threads around the cocoon, then threw it into a small pot, added water and plant ash, and started cooking it over high heat. After cooking for more than half an hour, Luo Ning saw that it was almost done, so he picked up the cooked yellow silkworm cocoons and washed them with clean water. The moment it came into contact with clear water, the yellow silkworm cocoons turned white at a speed that was almost visible to the naked eye, which aroused Horn's amazement. Next, in his disbelief, Luo Ning peeled off the silkworm cocoon, removed the dead silkworm chrysalis inside, then opened it with his hands and put it on. The cotton ring made of a bamboo strip found in advance. Despite a few failures, practice makes perfect, and Luo Ning soon mastered the routine. At first nothing could be seen from the thin layer of silk, but after Luo Ning folded 7 or 8 pieces, a piece of cloth appeared in front of everyone's eyes. This step is called opening. Stacking these dozen cocoons together can form a silk pocket. Luo Ning introduced, make a few more silk pockets like this, then take them out, wash them twice, and dry them in the sun. Then you can cut, stretch, spread them, and stack them together. The bed is covered in silk quilt. Horn carefully took the silk bag handed over by Luo Ning, his eyes full of disbelief. He always thought that boiling cocoons was another way to eat silkworm chrysalises, but he never expected that what was in front of him was a special piece of cloth. Jenny on the side also looked at this scene in shock. At this moment, they finally understand why the Lord is interested in sericulture. It turns out that it has such a wonderful effect. Sir, I am deeply impressed by your profound knowledge. Jenny bowed deeply to express her admiration. Although I don't know what silk quilt you are talking about yet, I may have expected that thing is definitely worth a lot of money. That's natural. Luo Ning smiled. Although there is fighting magic in this world, food, clothing, housing and transportation are also indispensable. There will always be people who need good things, especially things that represent noble status are extremely valuable. Horn, since you are interested in sericulture, you can try more, but you have to be careful to keep the silkworm seeds and don't try them all. Also, this is just one of the ways the cocoon can be used. We can also spin silk, he suggested. Snatching. Horn was very curious and listened with his ears straightened up. You can think of a silkworm cocoon as a ball surrounded by a thread. All we have to do is find out the thread ends, and then condense 7 or 8 silk threads together to form a thread. Luo Ning gestured and said, then we can use these silk threads to weave cloth and make clothes. His description was still too abstract, and both Horn and Jenny were in a state of being like scumbags listening to the teacher's math class, but this did not prevent the two of them from admiring and marveling at Luo Ning. Just like Horn said, although I don't understand it, I feel it is amazing. Horn looked at the silk bag in his hand and thought of eating so many silkworm chrysalis and throwing away so many cocoons. He suddenly felt like a waste of resources. While the two were talking, McCann came in from outside. Sir, Redal and Tom are already here. Okay. Luo Ning introduced to Jenny and Horn. Redal is my commander, I'm going to meet him. Horn, if you are interested, you can try to open the cotton first, and we will study how to draw silk later. After saying that, he left the kitchen. Horn and Jenny were not aware of Ronan's intention of calling Redal over. They just thought it was to deal with Slane. After the two of them withdrew their gaze, they began to lower their heads and carefully observe the silk bags in their hands. This thing is so light. Jenny stroked it. If it can be made into a quilt as Master Luo Ning said, it must be very light. In addition to quilts, it can also be made into clothes. The adult said that more than 1,000 cocoons can make a silk dress. Horn emphasized, "My lord also said that in the future, we will recruit dyers to make colorful silk. The dresses made from it will be much rarer than ordinary noble dresses." That he looked at his wife seriously. "I must make a dress like this for you and Irene." Jenny was very moved. "I believe you can do it." In Luo Ning's temporary room, he met Rudel and Tom, who came from the Qingzhou tribe. "Sir, Wilson arrived safely at the Qingzhou tribe yesterday and has started the census today." Rudel reported on the situation there. With the assistance of Zuwite and Sim, the people of the Qingzhou tribe are more cooperative. According to Wilson, he can complete the registration work today. Luo Ning nodded. There were only more than 300 people in the Qingzhou tribe, and their residences were relatively concentrated. It was indeed not difficult. Back to topic. Jenny and Horn should be fine, but it's necessary for you to come over. Luo Ning said, "If things progress as Jenny expected, then the people from the Grey Earth tribe will probably arrive here later." Red Dale Tom, "You take people to hide in the mountains and forests on both sides, and wait until they come in before breaking up. There is no way out. The Zigua tribe is like a crater with an indentation. If you block the way back, you will be invited to enter the urn, close the door and beat the dog. Don't worry, leave it to us." Riddell smiled and said, "I heard from the political officer that the savage tribe in the forest has existed for 20 years. I didn't expect you to have solved most of them so quickly. If the outside world hears it, I'm afraid they will be amazed at your ability. They just don't want to put in the effort." Luo Ning shook his head. If the nobles were determined to get rid of the savage tribe, they could still do it, but they didn't have the motivation, let alone bear the losses. The reason why he was able to conquer so quickly was because, on the one hand, it was a blitzkrieg. The Qingzhou tribe did not react at all and formed a strong resistance, while the Zigua tribe surrendered without any resistance. It was getting late, and Jenny had arranged for the servants to prepare dinner. In the warehouse, Horn followed the method taught by Luo Ning to select better silkworm cocoons to keep as silkworm seeds. This time, the number of silkworm seeds was larger, and hundreds of them were prepared. Redao, Tom and others went out early to ambush, but McKen stayed by Luo Ning's side, acting as a personal guard. "How was the statistics today?" Luo Ning was sitting on the chair in the living room, looking at several pieces of parchment handed over by Eileen, which recorded the other party's statistical information. Erin stuck out her tongue, a little embarrassed. "It's not finished yet. Give me another morning and I will definitely finish it." Ronan checked with a smile. There are almost no special craftsmen in the savage tribe. A few people have the words mason and carpenter after their names, but the specific level is not clear. But for Luo Ning, anyone with some basic knowledge in these directions can use it. "Your handwriting is good, much better than Wilson's." "Really?" Little girl Erin was so happy when she heard this compliment that she even jumped a little. Luo Ning didn't understand why the other party was so excited, but he still nodded. "Of course, I never tell lies." He was indeed telling no lies. Eileen's writing was neat and her comfort while browsing was indeed better than Wilson's. "I didn't finish registration today, probably because I was unfamiliar with it at first." Luo Ning handed the parchment back to the other party. "Come on, but your magic talent is good, don't forget to practice. To me, the value of a powerful magician is much greater than that of a political officer. Administrative officers can be trained in batches, but magicians cannot." What Luo Ning likes about Irene has always been her magic talent. Grown-ups, while they were talking, a guard ran over from outside. "There are horses coming in the distance. The commander asked me to inform you that they may be people from the Grey Earth tribe." Luo Ning raised his eyebrows and asked, "How many people are here?" "There seem to be more than a dozen of them. It's too far to see them clearly." "Okay, let's go and inform Jenny and Horn that we are open to welcome guests. Thanks to bookfriend 157310 for the reward, and thanks to more than a dozen readers for their monthly tickets and recommendation tickets this month. I'm a little busy at the end of the year, so I don't have time to read and comment on some interactive information. Please forgive me. New. Chapter 92 The King of 92 Last Strikes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 92 The King of Last Strikes. Slain considers himself the leader of the tripartite alliance. He has visited the Qingzhou and Zigua tribes more than once, and he has long regarded these two allies as his own. After getting the news from Lauren, he excitedly led the team and rushed here non-stop, not only to rescue Jenny and Irene, but also to annex the Zigua tribe, but he never expected that when he led his men into the cottage, he would see Jenny and Horn walking towards each other. Their loving looks were very dazzling. There was no trace of being imprisoned. Is this? Slain looked stunned. Mam's expression changed, and he whispered a reminder, "Oh no, Jenny is indeed a liar." "Sir, I suggest you withdraw from the stronghold first." That the 3 knights and several cavalrymen next to them also changed their expressions, but Slain sneered. "What are you afraid of? Can they still beat us?" At this moment, rapid footsteps came from behind them, but it was Ruedel and Tom who led the team and blocked the retreat from the rear. Slain looked back and felt bad. He turned back and stared at Jenny with a stern look. "Damn bitch, how dare you lie to me?" Jenny was not angry about this, but instead wore a faint smile. "I'm sorry, Slain, I did lie to you. However, I also brought you an opportunity to get rid of your status as a savage." She took a step forward. "This is Baron Luo Ning. He is the lord of Shanlin town and a bloodline of the Wushan family. He has conquered the Qingzhou tribe with his strength and killed Knight Willie. I also led his followers surrender to him. Now it's your turn to choose. As a former ally, I kindly remind you that loyalty to Lord Luo Ning is your only choice." Everyone in the Grey Earth tribe was shocked by Jenny's introduction, especially Mamu. He had imagined that the Purple Fruit tribe and the Black Collar tribe would unite, but he never expected that a noble would suddenly appear in the Wubei woodland, and this nobleman is a family member of the Lord of Wushan territory. Baron of Shanlin town. From the Wushan family. Slain turned his angry gaze to Ronan, his brows furrowed. No wonder he felt uncomfortable when he just glanced at the silver-haired boy. Didn't the leader of the noble coalition who originally chased them have silver hair? However, it was impossible for him to surrender to a noble. Slain's greatest wish is to become a noble himself, or, if he is not a noble, to be the leader of a party. This is much happier than being loyal to others. Even for him, surrendering to the Black Collar tribe was more comfortable than being loyal to the nobles. He slowly pulled out the long sword hanging on Ma Bei, narrowed his small eyes, and said coldly, "Silver-haired brat, you want me to surrender to you? Dream. Drive." Slain suddenly clamped the horse's belly and launched a direct charge, leaving no chance for Luo Ning to negotiate. Jenny is right, this person is confident, arrogant, conceited, and has no brains. "Sir, be careful," Jenny exclaimed, and the Horn Knight next to him was ready to take action. Their surrender was true, and they didn't want to see anything happen to Luo Ning, but there are people who are faster than them. McCann, who was always guarding Luo Ning, had already taken action when the opponent started to charge. He trampled the ground violently, and the surging fighting spirit poured out. The ground shook violently. Halfway through the opponent's charge, the ground suddenly rose up, forming an earth wall barrier. "Break it for me," Slain roared loudly, and struck the earth wall with a sharp sword light, shattering the earth wall into pieces. At the same time, fighting spirit enveloped his body and the horse's body, forming a huge galloping armor. With a leap on his horse, Slain stepped over the broken earth wall and broke through. Luo Ning's eyes lit up. This Slain's fighting style was very arrogant. If he conquered the opponent, he would be considered to have gained a strong general, but soon, his idea was extinguished. McCann was not afraid at all. Even without a war horse, his speed was extremely fast in a short distance. The two sides came towards each other and met each other almost instantly. Slain was condescending and stabbed McCann with his sword. He didn't expect that this knight was so unafraid of death that he dared to bring down his sword. The moment McCann passed by the opponent's horse, he seized the opportunity to attack and face the opponent with a powerful sword. The long swords clashed, and Perron's power exploded on the sword. McCann was knocked back by the shock, and Slain was knocked out like a kite with a broken string. He hit the ground heavily and spat out a mouthful of blood. The war horse he was sitting on was also overturned by the force of the blow. Due to its inertia, it plowed the ground for more than 10 meters and stopped a few meters away from Luo Ning. Elrond, quickly, go treat this horse. Ronan ordered quickly. Elrond has finished making the healing spell scroll in the past 2 days. In addition to practicing, he will see if there is anyone in the Qingzhou and Zigua tribes who needs his treatment. If there is any, he will throw in a healing spell, which can not only make the injured people get up and do something, but also spread the kindness of the Lord. Now I didn't expect that his healing skills were actually used on horses. Well, horses do cost a bit. As you wish, sir. The light magician accepted the order happily. When they started to save the horse, Slain climbed up from the dust. His face was frightened and his expression changed drastically. This Baron was a bit strong. Ma'am, attack, let's all go together and kill this nobleman. We will still be the king of the forest. That the roar woke up Mamu, who was shocked by the battle just now, and his mind changed rapidly. For him, surrender is also not a good option because he betrayed Jenny. Now that Jenny surrendered to Luo Ning first and offered such a good strategy, she must have won the favor of the Baron. If he surrenders now, he will most likely be executed at the request of Jenny. At that time, the young Baron would most likely agree to the request. Slain is dead. As long as I lead people to break out of the encirclement, I can become the leader myself when I return to the Grey Earth tribe. Then I can cooperate with the Black Collar tribe and rely on the power behind the other party. I don't have to be afraid of this Baron. In an instant, man thought of an escape route. Babylon, and everyone else, Slain is no longer alive. Rush out with me if you want to survive. The only thing left behind is death. That Baron and Jenny are. I won't let everyone go. Without any hesitation, he immediately turned the horse's head and rushed out instead of complying with Slain's words and charging towards Ronan. Babylon, 3 other junior knights, and 5 cavalrymen were stunned for a moment. Then without hesitation, they turned their horses and followed Man to charge outside. Many things in the Grey Earth tribe were arranged by Man, and they trusted each other's judgment. Betrayal, damn it, how dare you betray me? Slain roared angrily, his eyes turned red, and the fighting spirit in his body became extremely manic. Kill, he couldn't control that much now. He only had a chance to survive by breaking through McCann's defense and seizing Luo Ning as a hostage. However, no matter how he charged or changed his offensive, he was tightly defended by McCann and could not move forward at all. On the other side, Ma Mu and others were about to rush out, but they were greeted by a large fire cloud. The fire cloud was like a red cloth covering the sky, covering them. The war horse neighed in fear and immediately faltered. The cavalryman on the horse was unsteady and fell to the ground immediately. Mamuti's sword, which was slightly faster in reaction, slashed with fighting spirit, but was thrown away by the impact of the fire cloud and fell off the horse. Redao waved his sword and said, "Take them down." Tom, Wharton, Dandy and others led the guards and militia to immediately surround them. The battle ended quickly. Under the leadership of Redao, none of the 10 people including Mamu escaped. They were all taken out and pushed to their knees on the ground. 2 swords were placed on their necks, and they did not dare to move. At the same time, Slain, who had been completely beaten by McCann, was beaten to the ground and could not stand up. Jenny and Horn looked at the battle in front of them in shock. They didn't expect that Luo Ning could win so easily against these people from the Grey Earth tribe. Their eyes flickered to McCann and Redao. The fighting power these 2 people just showed is so strong. They definitely have high-level peak strength, and can even rival bronze-level knights. On the other hand, Luo Ning never made a single move from beginning to end. This calm and composed state shows that he is very aware of and trusts the strength of his subordinates. Jenny and Horn were very fortunate that they surrendered voluntarily that night. Ronan walked up to McCann. "How do you feel about letting you use your fists and kicks this time?" McCann smiled and said, "Thank you for this opportunity, sir. It's just that this guy is too weak. I'm afraid I can defeat him when I am an intermediate knight." Lane, who was next to him, heard Luo Ning approaching and turned around to stare at Luo Ning. A few hours ago, he was still enjoying the service of others and the leader who could decide the lives and deaths of hundreds of people. Now he became someone else's prisoner, and the initiator of all this was the silver-haired guy in front of him. "I am going to kill you." Slain clenched the sword on the ground. His extreme hatred prevented him from letting go of his obsession. If he hadn't been unable to stand up, he would have definitely pounced on Luo Ning. Should I praise you for being a real man, or should I say that you don't understand current affairs? Ronan took the sword from McCann's hand. Originally, he wanted to try to see if he could use the other party for his own purposes, but it was no longer necessary now. First of all, the opponent is not strong, just careless. Secondly, and most importantly, Slane's extremely hateful look just now made Luo Ning feel very uncomfortable. This kind of hatred cannot be eliminated by restoring his status as a free citizen. All things considered, even if such a person stays, he is likely to become a disaster in the future. Puff. Luo Ning pierced the opponent's throat with a sword, ending Slane's life. King of Slaughter achievement achieved, attribute points plus 80, energy essence plus 160. Please call me the king of last hits. Luo Ning thought to himself, new. Chapter 93 Unexpected Information. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No. The last time the King of Killing achievement was triggered was when he killed the Skull and Bones magician Pedro on the way to Hillwood Town for the first time. Today, Luo Ning also happened to take the opportunity to kill Slane to complete the requirement of killing level 3 extraordinary units. He checked the achievement interface and saw that the King of Slaughter achievement had been updated. King of Killing, kill any level 4 extraordinary unit, reward, attribute points plus 200, energy essence plus 400. Although the rewards this time are much higher than the previous 3 times, if the 4th level extraordinary unit is a human, it will be a Bronze level knight or a great magician. Extraordinaries of this level generally have some status and background, and it is not an easy task to kill them. For example, if a certain family has a bronze level knight, even if he and Luo Ning have a dispute and are killed, if the dispute is not serious enough to cost his life, then Luo Ning may face serious accountability from the family. However, if it were a Warcraft, that would be easier to say. Anyway, the achievement can be completed with just one last hit. Luo Ning will enter Wushan a few times when the time comes. He should be able to encounter level 4 monsters, right? Sir, what should we do with these people? Radal came over and asked, pointing at the people of the Grey Earth tribe who were being controlled and kneeling on the ground. Luo Ning walked over and scanned the group of people. Which ones are professional knights? I am. Me too. Me too. A total of 5 professional knights, including Mam, rushed to respond. In this world, professional knights are more popular than ordinary people even if they are defeated. Even if the victors do not need their allegiance, they can be sold to the slave exchange, so that they can still survive. Luo Ning nodded slightly and looked at the remaining 5 cavalrymen. Are you willing to be loyal to me, or do you want to be like Slane and would rather die than surrender? These prisoners all rushed to say I do. At this moment, they had no other thoughts. Even Mam, who had just escaped, was like this. Since he couldn't escape, he could only kneel down and beg for mercy. If Jenny pursues him, he will risk his life and beg for forgiveness, all just to survive. I accept your allegiance, but I don't like traitors. Luo Ning finally looked at Mamu. This person reminded him of a legendary figure, Lu Bu, a slave with the 3rd surname, but after all, Lu Bu has real abilities, but this Mam is far from it. Luo Ning conquered the savage tribe too easily this time. The image he showed on the outside was that of a kind person who was willing to forgive others, and was not too harsh. Kindness is indeed a good quality, but being kind blindly will have the opposite effect, making people think that he is too talkative. Now, all the existing extraordinary beings from these 3 tribes are present, which is just the right time for these surrendered people to know what can be done and what must not be done. Jenny, I heard you say that this Mamu was originally from your Zigua tribe, right? Luo Ning looked back at Jenny, only to find that as the battle ended, many people from the Purple Fruit tribe gathered around to watch the fun, and the timid Erin also stood beside her parents. Facing this question, Jenny didn't know how to answer it for a while. Saying just kill him seems to be too stingy, when it comes to sparing Mam's life. I don't know what Luo Ning is thinking, however, considering that the other party just said I don't like traitors. She pondered slightly and replied, Mamu betrayed the Zigua tribe first, and betrayed Srain second. I'm afraid the word betrayal has been imprinted on him. On the soul. My lord, since you don't like traitors, then sell him to the slave exchange. She gave her answer, ma'am, who was kneeling on the ground, immediately defended, Jenny, I had no choice but to join the Grey Earth tribe. The Black Collar tribe is very strong and has a backer. If the Grey Earth tribe cannot stop it, our three-party alliance will soon be hacked. Lead and devour. Mamu's tone was firm, as if he had done nothing wrong. I am thinking about the tripartite alliance and our three tribes. Joining the Grey Earth tribe is to make the tripartite alliance stronger and to enable us all to survive. This is not betrayal. Jenny snorted coldly, it's not betrayal, then why do you come here to persuade me again and again, and even threaten that if you don't join Huetu, my family will be ruined sooner or later? Luo Ning raised his hand and stopped the two of them from talking. You just said that the Black Collar tribe has a backer. Luo Ning caught this word. He was curious. What kind of backing would a savage tribe have? Could it be that in addition to these four tribes, there is another big tribe? Dear Lord Baron, the Black Collar tribe does have a backer. Ma'am's fierce rebuttal to Jenny immediately turned into a respectful tone for Ronan. Baron Layson of the Thane territory is his backer. If it weren't for the support of the Thane territory, the Black Collar tribe would not have developed so much. Quick, you can challenge the three of us. Luo Ning was surprised and wanted to laugh. Well, after going round and round, Thane Ling was actually involved. Is that so? Luo Ning confirmed again with some suspicion. Such an adult. Beads of sweat broke out on Ma'am's forehead. He was under great pressure now, and he only hoped that this useful information could change the Baron's attitude towards him. This is what Slane told me. He said that the leader of the Black Collar tribe, Joffrey, once used this excuse to win over him. Unfortunately, Slane wanted to be the leader himself, so he refused. He pointed at Babylon beside him and said, I had not joined the Grey Earth tribe at that time, but Babylon was present and he knew it. Luo Ning looked at the middle-aged prisoner who was also kneeling on the ground. Really? Yes sir. Babylon lowered his head and did not dare to look directly into Ronan's eyes. I was indeed present at the time and heard it with my own ears. Luo Ning nodded slowly, convinced of the information. It seems that Baron Layson not only wants to get involved in Shanlin town, but also wants to annex all the savage tribes in Wu Bei Woodland. Perhaps the other party had the same idea as Luo Ning, and wanted to absorb the entire northern part of Wushan territory into his own territory and become the strongest ruler in the north. Although you made up a somewhat convincing reason for betraying the Zigua tribe, you escaped from the battlefield and ignored your master. The fact that you betrayed Slane is obvious to all. The topic returned to dealing with Ma'am. I don't like to use betrayal people, and I don't want to be betrayed by my own men one day. I will not accept your plea for mercy, and I am not prepared to sell you to the slave exchange. No, you can't. Mamu trembled all over. Sir, although my strength is not the strongest, my management ability and wisdom are stronger than them. As long as you are willing to let me live, I will follow your footsteps until death. Manage? Wisdom? Luo Ning really didn't see it. He waved his hand. It would be better for the betrayer to die. You. Ma'am's eyes widened and he tried to struggle to resist, but his throat was cut open by the cold sword. He only felt weak all over, and then fell softly to the ground. The smell of blood wafted through the Zigua tribe stronghold, and Mamu's body lying on the ground drew a red line to those who surrendered to Ronan in recent days, letting them know that some things were not allowed to be done. McCann, I'll leave these prisoners to you. Use them if you can. You guys who are dishonest can do what you want. Luo Ning ordered. Ruodal, you go ahead and take them to take over the Grey Earth tribe tomorrow. Oh, by the way, if Wilson has completed the census of the Green Bamboo tribe, take him there too. This time he did not go to the Grey Earth tribe in person, but chose to let Radal take over. He still had some things to deal with here. After the place is settled, he will go over and show his face for inspection. Since the Black Collar tribe has the Thane territory intervening, they cannot simply deal with it. If the other party reported his annexation of the savage tribe to the authorities and arranged for a pioneer knight or a small baron to take over the land, there would be unnecessary trouble. It would be better to maintain the status quo for a while and wait for the right time. Before Luo Ning legally takes over all the land north of Shanlin town as his own, he should be a viscount by then, right? Viscount of Wubei territory. Jenny, Horn, I'll leave the cleaning up to you. Luo Ning ordered the two of them easily. No problem, sir. Luo Ning chuckled and looked at Eileen aside, but found that there was some fear and avoidance in the other person's eyes. Could it be that what just happened made this little guy feel scared? It is indeed easy for people to feel fear when one word can decide a person's life or death. Ronan smiled and touched Eileen's head, then walked towards the house. Elrond, come with me. New. Chapter 94 Personnel Arrangements. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 94 Personnel Arrangements. Among Ronan's three subordinates, McCann, Elrond, and Rydell, it is Elrond who is in urgent need of reinforcements. The second transcendent who followed him is still in the state of an intermediate magician, 212/300, and is a little short of progress before he can be promoted to an advanced level. After completing the achievement this time, Luo Ning obtained a full 1. Dividing these into two parts, 88 points of energy essence were all invested in Elrond's body, allowing the opponent to break through to the advanced level. How about it? After some operations, Ronan asked Elrond, have you gained anything new? Have. Elrond's eyes were shining brightly, he was in very good condition now. Sir, I have obtained two kinds of magic, Holy Shield and Light Binding. Oh. Luo Ning became interested. Tell me about it. Holy Shield, a third-level light attribute magic, simply puts a light shield on the target, which can absorb damage from magic and fighting skills, but cannot resist physical attacks. Light Binding is a kind of confinement magic. In Elrond's words, it uses the tentacles of light to bind the limbs of the person who is being cast so that they cannot move. In this breakthrough, Elrond still has no offensive spells, but is getting further and further in defense. Come on, use the light binding technique on me and see how strong the binding force is. Luo Ning stood up and decided to experience it for himself. I saw Elrond stretching out his fingers to carve the spell lines of the light binding spell in the void. It can be seen that this magic is much more complicated than the previous one, and there are probably more than a dozen light nodes. As the spell lines were carved, Elrond pointed at Ronan, and golden light tentacles stretched out in the void next to the latter's limbs. They wrapped around Ronan's legs and hands like a python. The binding force doesn't seem to be weak. Luo Ning moved casually and found that his limbs had been tied up and he was completely unable to move. He was angry, and the muscles in his arms tensed, trying to force one hand out, but found that the restraint force was stronger than he thought. With his early intermediate level, he could not stop talking. A little stronger than I thought. Luo Ning opened the panel and added all 80 attribute points to his knight progress. At this moment, he reached the intermediate knight, 133/200. Cut it off, Luo Ning shouted in a deep voice. His limbs suddenly exerted force, and the tentacles of light that bound his limbs became unstable. This spell was about to be broken by Luo Ning, but, one breath, two breaths, Luo Ning's face turned red. Finally, after 7 or 8 seconds of stalemate, the light on his limbs shattered and disappeared. He rubbed his wrist. Fortunately, he broke the magic in the end, otherwise he would be embarrassed in front of his men. The binding force is very good, Luo Ning praised. It should be enough to imprison an average intermediate knight. He changed the subject. By the way, McCann also awakened his memory when he broke through to the advanced level. What about you? Have you gained anything new? When he summoned Rydell, the other party claimed to be the commander of the Flame Expeditionary Force. Later, when McCann broke through and became a senior knight, he awakened a memory and claimed to be the leader of the 7th Knights of the Flame Expeditionary Army. Now that Elrond has also broken through to a high level, I don't know if he has any awakened memory fragments. Sir, I also obtained a piece of information. Elrond nodded. This message tells me that like McCann and Rydell, I am from the Flame Expeditionary Army. I serve as a sacred physician in this army, specializing in treatment and assistance. The invigoration technique, flash technique, healing technique, holy shield technique and light binding technique that he currently masters are all therapeutic and auxiliary in nature. The title of holy physician is more suitable. It would be more appropriate if it were replaced by holy auxiliary. Luo Ning was finally sure that the 3 people he summoned were definitely connected. and as their strength improves and their memories recover, it is likely that they will bring him some information that the world does not know. After Elrond withdrew the digestive enhancement effect, Ronan was completely free. From the time of the expedition on the 21st to the evening of the 23rd, in just 3 days, he could be said to have captured 3 savage tribes, although the Grey Earth tribe is not yet fully under control, with the native Babylon and 3 other junior knights. Controlling the people there should not be a problem. At that time, it will be nothing more than promoting his policies and using small favors to win over the people, as long as the living conditions of these savages are not worsened in a short period of time, and many of them have seeds of hope for the future. Everything will be easy to handle. I didn't expect things to go so smoothly. In the next period of time, as long as the Black Collar tribe does not take the initiative to invade him, he will not cause trouble for them. According to his plan, it is not too late to digest the territory of the Tripartite Alliance and build up the industries here, and then make the next step. This is not to say that we have to wait for years and years. In fact, the attack on the Black Collar tribe will not take too long. It is estimated that it will be after next year's spring plowing. I wish my dual career breakthrough to the advanced level would be a little slow. He is still far away from reaching the advanced level. After reaching the advanced level, he needs 300 points for the knight level and 400 points for the magician level. In other words, he still needs 7 bronze knights and great magicians. Step by step, it will take more than 5 months, almost exactly after spring plowing. At that time, when he breaks through, Shanlin Town is likely to have 4 level 4 extraordinary professionals at the same time. Even if the Black Collar tribe has the support of Thane Leader, it will be difficult to resist Luo Ning's offensive. Let Redal take Tom, Jewett, Sim, and Babylon to sit in the Grey Earth tribe and monitor the movements of the Black Collar tribe. Redal's strength is much stronger than Slane's, so it's no problem for him to take charge of the Grey Earth tribe. Letting Tom and others go there also allows people they trust to use it. As for the defense of the Qingzhou and Zigua tribes, with Redal at the front, there is no danger here. Just let Horn and Jenny stay in the Zigua tribe while taking care of the defense of the Qingzhou tribe. Luo Ning took Irene with him, so he didn't have to worry about the 2 people having any different intentions. What's more, judging from this experience, the Horns are willing to surrender. As for the remaining people, they were all brought back to Shanlin Town by Luo Ning. At this point, in addition to himself, the extraordinary people in Hillwood Town also include McCann, Elrond, Aaron, David, Wharton, Dandy, and the 3 knights of the Grey Earth tribe who surrendered but whose names are unknown, a total of 9 people. These 9 people are not only responsible for the defense of the territory, but they can also find time to form a team of hunters to go hunting. Luo Ning also didn't expect that in just 2 months, he could gather so many extraordinary beings by himself. Once the horses, weapons and equipment, infantry, archers, etc. are all trained, he will be able to form a regular team of knights. In this way, the next day, according to Luo Ning's plan, Redal took people to the Grey Earth tribe, preparing to take over the people there. Luo Ning stayed at the Purple Fruit tribe to show the Horn Knight how to extract silk from cocoons. In fact, this process is simpler than opening cotton, and you don't even need to put plant ash when cooking cocoons. The only problem is that there is no spinning wheel at hand, only the spindle, which is inconvenient to operate. He decided that when he returned to Hillwood Town, he would first let Bar make a few spinning wheels. As for the loom, he had to first see what the loom in this world looked like. In the morning, the little girl Irene completed her census as scheduled, and a total of 242 people in the Zigua tribe were registered. In order to reward the other party, Luo Ning allowed the other party to call him brother, but this little guy didn't know whether it was because he was afraid of Luo Ning's intimidation yesterday, or he was a little shy, so he coyly didn't make a sound for a long time. My brother didn't shout out, but he called Wilson over. After being separated for so many days, Wilson kept thinking about the Lord and was afraid that something might happen to the Lord, so he was extremely excited when he saw him in the Purple Fruit tribe. While greeting him cordially, he exaggeratedly praised Luo Ning's strength. This time Wilson came and brought his census results from the Qingzhou tribe. Including Wharton and Dandy, there were a total of 354 people in the Qingzhou tribe, all of whom were registered. So far, the population of Luo Ning territory has increased to 2,725 people. Ronan praised Wilson's efficiency and assigned him a task: train more village chiefs and send them to the Qingzhou village, Zigua village and Huetu village that he renamed, preferably those who master the ridge farming method. For him, extraordinary people only need to be responsible for defense and do not need to intervene in construction. When Wilson heard that he was actually going to be the political officer of so many territories, his eyes shone brightly, and he immediately said that he would train and select the most suitable ones as soon as possible after returning. Of course, the first thing the hard-working political officer has to do is to complete the census of the Grey Earth tribe. I believe that soon Luo Ning's population boom achievement will be completed. I have something to do and I am traveling far away. I will be on the high-speed rail in the afternoon. The update in the evening will be a little later. New Chapter 95-96 Population Breakthrough. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Breaking. After the intense offensive rhythm ended, Luo Ning's pace of life slowed down again. Although life in Zigua village was not as comfortable as in Shanlin town, in order to teach Horn the two planting methods of mulberry cutting and layering, Luo Ning needed to spend a lot of time and patience to demonstrate, especially later. A method he had only seen others use, but had never tried himself. During the past 2 days, Luo Ning also inspected the reclaimed fields in Zigua village, and at the same time selected 10 acres of land and planned them as a mulberry planting base. Mulberry cultivation also requires the use of ridge farming, and compared to wheat cultivation, the ridges of mulberry trees need to be higher. Luo Ning taught this method to Horn in advance and told him that when planting, keep about 8 or 9 inches between 2 plants. 10 centimeters spacing. After all, oral teaching only serves as a guide. The specific extent to which the expansion of mulberry trees can be implemented depends on Horn's operational ability. Seeing that the other party was very serious and took detailed notes, I should still have some expectations. Luo Ning does not expect this matter to be completed within a year, which is not practical. He is only 17 years old, and time is on his side. He has a long time to improve conditions and finally bring silk out of this mountain forest. 3 days later in the afternoon, Luo Ning, accompanied by Horn, came to the northernmost part of the Zigua tribe. Wubei woodland is not small, and there is a large area further north, but there are no humans living there, let alone savage tribes. In other words, there were some fleeing nobles who took their people to the north and took root there to form tribes like yours. But later on, these tribes disappeared. Luo Ning stood on a high slope and looked to the north. He seemed to be able to see the sea surging with waves on the horizon. It is said that the northern part of Wushan territory is surrounded by the ocean, but it has always been in an undeveloped state, which is unusual. Logically speaking, shouldn't the seaside be more prosperous? For example, the Jinjiao city in the Ashan territory is the seaport city of the Ashan territory. Port Dennis connects the Ashan territory and the Kingdom of Aljuan. Trade is extremely frequent, and an unknown number of gold coins are paid to Ashan Fort every year. Surrounded by the sea in the north, it is somewhat surprising that there is no development. He spread out the map and took a look. It was possible that the protruding area in the north was too isolated overseas and the trade routes with other places were very long. In addition, no very profitable developments were found, causing the north to there are no human footprints. Yes sir, Horn said. I went to the north to explore, and there were indeed traces of human activity there. I saw wooden houses, stone houses, and a lot of bones on the ground, but I didn't find any more people. He recalled, with a hint of panic on his face. I felt that it was unusual for people to disappear there, so I didn't dare to go deeper. Is that so? Luo Ning frowned and looked at the guard officer McCann who was guarding him. The latter understood. Don't worry, sir. When I have time, I will lead people to explore all the land in the north and mark out the dangerous area in advance. Luo Ning nodded. Purple Fruit Village has existed safely for these years, and even if there are any dangerous areas, it will not have much impact. Please consider the investigation after you are promoted to the Bronze Knight. Okay sir. Horn stood aside and listened to the conversation between the two masters and servants, feeling strange in his heart. It is not easy to advance to the bronze level. Some people will be stuck at the advanced knight stage for a lifetime, but listening to these two people talking, it seemed like it was a sure thing, and it was even a very easy thing. Could it be that this McCann is on the verge of a breakthrough? Horn thought of the scene where McCann tortured Slane a few days ago, and nodded secretly. It was really possible. The sound of horse hooves sounded, and several people couldn't help but look up, only to see Irene and Jenny riding over on horseback. Ronan left 3 of Slane's horses with Jenny's family. They have been learning riding skills in the past 2 days, and now they seem to have mastered them well. Not long after, 2 horses came to the crowd. Aaron easily turned over and dismounted, and said with a smile, "Brother Luo Ning, your political officer Wilson has returned from the Grey Earth tribe." After a few days of getting along, the little guy Irene still didn't resist the temptation to call her brother, and finally did so. "Oh," Luo Ning smiled and said, "it seems that Wilson has already registered the people of the Grey Earth tribe." "Yes, sir." Jenny stood up and dismounted. "Wilson said he wanted to report the work situation to you. In addition, Jewett has also followed your instructions and brought back a large bag of the Grey Earth tribe's specialty product, Grey Earth. The specialty of Qingzhou village is bamboo, and the specialty of Zigua village is sericulture. Luo Ning wants to know what the grey soil that Babylon and the others call the specialty of the Grey Earth tribe is." "Then let's go back." Luo Ning couldn't wait. He took Irene's horse and turned over to ride on it. "Little Irene, do you want to come up?" Irene blushed, hesitated for a moment, and then said weakly, I just ride my mother's horse." "Ha ha ha!" Luo Ning laughed. He could still bring himself some fun by teasing the children, but it was a pity that the little girl was too young. "McCann, please come back with Irene and the others." He turned the horse's head and galloped towards the village. Not long after, he came to the living room, where Wilson and Jewett were waiting for him. As soon as Luo Ning came in, the 2 people quickly stood up to greet him. Zuwite said, "Sir, Radal asked me to tell you that the situation in Huetu village is going well. All the residents already know that you are their master, and you can go and inspect at any time. I know, you guys have done a great job in being able to stabilize yourself in such a short period of time." Wilson handed over the compiled booklet. "Sir, this is the census result of the Grey Earth tribe. Compared to Qingzhou village and Zigua village, the Grey Earth tribe has more craftsmen." He introduced. "I asked, and there are 3 carpenters alone, one of whom should be about the same level as William. In addition, there are 2 masons, and there are many strong men." Luo Ning laughed. The Grey Earth tribe indeed sucked the blood of its allies and was indeed much stronger. "Wilson, your abilities are getting stronger and stronger." He complimented and took the booklet. "As soon as I got the parchment, the system text appeared in front of my eyes. The achievement of prosperous population is achieved, attribute points plus 50, energy essence plus 100, the total population of Huetu village is 455. Adding the populations of Shanlin town, Qingzhou village and Zigua village, Luo Ning now has 3,180 subjects, exceeding the 3,000 mark required for achievement." Luo Ning opened the achievement interface smoothly, and the above information was updated. Prosperous population, the registered population of the territory reaches 5,000. Rewards, attribute points plus 100, energy essence plus 200. The quantity requirement did not increase much at once, it was only 2,000, which didn't seem difficult. Luo Ning conquered the black collar tribe, and if he bought some slaves, he might be able to complete this achievement. New book bar. Chapter 96-97 Dust. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 96 Dust. In the living room of the wooden house, Jewett opened a linen bag placed aside, revealing the soil inside. "Sir, this is the dust you asked us to bring back." Luo Ning squatted down and opened the mouth of the sack. Carefully observing the dust inside, he discovered that the soil was not really grey, but off-white, and it existed in the form of small clods. Luo Ning stretched out his thumb and index finger and pinched a small piece of soil. The piece of soil broke into pieces with a little force. After twisting it carefully, I found that the dust was in the form of a fine powder with very small particle size. Luo Ning is not a geologist, nor has he learned any relevant knowledge, but he can still tell that this soil is very unique. "How much soil is there in Grey Earth village?" Jewett replied, "Sir, I've been pretending a lot, and I feel like half the mountain is covered in this kind of soil. According to the people over there, some people ate this kind of soil to satisfy their hunger when they were hungry." But later I found out that after its stomach is so full that the baby can't pull it out and is suffocated to death, no one will eat it anymore. Guanyin soil. Luo Ning naturally thought of this word, but soon, it was replaced by another word, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Is this kaolin clay? Wilson, go get me a bowl of water. Luo Ning quickly ordered. Wilson heard the urgency in this sentence and quickly ran into the kitchen and brought a bowl of water. Luo Ning took out a handful of soil from the sack and placed it on the ground, then poured a little water on it and mixed it for a while. He soon discovered that the dust that had not touched his hands at all became sticky, and at the same time, the delicate feel of the soil became more and more obvious at this moment. I'm afraid this is really kaolin. Luo Ning was surprised and pleasantly surprised. Kaolin is a nonmetallic mineral. The higher the purity, the whiter and more delicate the kaolin. It has good plasticity and fire resistance. In Chinese history, it was precisely because of the discovery and good utilization of kaolin that porcelain became available in the civilized world. If only porcelain could be made. Luo Ning's mind became active. Most of the aristocratic tableware and utensils in this world are made of silver, such as silver wine glasses, silver tableware, etc. Some nobles also use glass products or crystal products, but the latter two have not been promoted on a large scale. As for porcelain, let alone mention it. In all likelihood, it has never appeared. Among other things, it is difficult for anyone to master the high temperature of 1200 degrees Celsius required for firing ceramics, otherwise there would be no pig iron. The bellows he built in Shanlin town a while ago now seems to be used not only for smelting metals, but also for firing ceramics. Of course, the bellows is only an auxiliary, and firing porcelain requires several other key steps, for example, how to process kaolin clay to make mud, how to draw, carve, glaze and fire, etc. are all difficult problems that need to be explored and solved. Once these problems are solved, Shanlin town will be able to produce porcelain. Luo Ning felt a little sad when he thought about it. He didn't expect that he could collect pig iron, silk, and porcelain on this piece of land in the northern part of Wushan territory. This land really gave him enough surprises. Leaving aside the difficulty of implementation, as long as you firmly grasp these three things, especially porcelain, future development will not be a problem. That with these material foundations, combined with the knowledge in Luo Ning's mind, he already had a preliminary idea on how to develop in the future. Jubit, we will leave for Huitu village early tomorrow morning. This time, Luo Ning's purpose was no longer simply to meet his subjects, but more to observe the scale of the limestone veins. As for you, Wilson, the matter here has come to an end for the time being. Let the two guards take you back to Shanlin town to supervise the village chiefs and team leaders in mastering new farming techniques. Luo Ning added, in addition, let serfs and tenant farmers observe and learn as soon as possible. If everyone has mastered these farming skills, we can also let some people go to these three new villages to teach the skills. Let some people master it first, and then let these people lead more people who have not mastered it to master this technology. This is the promotion method advocated by Luo Ning. I understand, sir. Wilson kept the Lord's orders in mind, and he felt that his burden was getting heavier and heavier, but correspondingly, his status became higher and higher. At least there will be more and more village chiefs and team leaders under him. Sir, Commander Radal has one more thing for me to give to you. Jewett said, picking up the second sack from the chair next to him, and there was a jingle inside. After we arrived at Grey Earth Village, we took control of Srain and Mam's women. The commander arranged for them to continue working for you in Grey Earth Village like everyone else. In addition, what's inside is Srain's and Mam's women. Wealth, he asked me to pass it on to you. Oh, Luo Ning took it with a smile and asked curiously, how many are there? Wilson smiled and replied, Sir, Radal gave me a count. Man doesn't have much money, only Dansrain has a lot of property, 3. In addition, there are 5 knight swords, a shield and a set of chain mail stored in Slane's warehouse. In addition, it is said that more than 2,300 acres of fields have been cultivated in Hueta village, and there is wheat harvested in the autumn in the warehouse. The specific amount has not yet been determined. Luo Ning was a little surprised. Slain, the leader, is really generous. As the leader of the savage tribe, the savings of the killed knight Willie was only equivalent to 8 gold coins, but the property of leader Slain was equivalent to more than 40 gold coins. Moreover, the amount of cultivated fields in Huetu village far exceeds that of Qingzhou and Zigua, making it worthy of being the strongest in the tripartite alliance. I wonder how much savings Horn and Jenny have. It's a pity that the two of them surrendered without any resistance, and Luo Ning couldn't take advantage of their private property as his own, but the Zigua tribe is the weakest. I guess they don't have much savings. Luo Ning quickly pulled his thoughts back. It was not the behavior of a good leader to always worry about the little property of his subordinates. Jewett, ask Redal to inform the others that in view of the perfect victory of this expedition, all the militiamen coming out of Shanlin town will be rewarded with 3 copper coins each, and the guards will be rewarded with 5 copper coins each. Other professionals include you, Wilson, in addition. The reward is 1 week's salary, which will be paid together with the next month's monthly salary. As for the money, he took the bulk of it, and he always scored a little bit to make his subordinates happy, not to mention winning the battle. The guards and militiamen seemed to have little effect, but they still played a significant role in arresting, controlling, and patrolling the residents. Luo Ning's reward for the 3 armies was barely calculated, and it was only about 5 or 6 gold coins. He just divided the money he got from Knight Willie. Wilson and Jewett looked at each other and saw the joy in each other's eyes. My lord, you are truly a lord who knows how to reward and punish. Thank you, sir, for the gift. New. Chapter 97-98 Return. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No. The next morning, Luo Ning took McCann, and under the leadership of Zuwite, arrived at the Huetu tribe, which was the renamed Huetu village. This place is worthy of being the strongest party in the tripartite alliance. As the forefront of facing the enemy, the larger number of people in Huetu village is just an appearance. The light labor force here accounts for a large proportion, and the elderly population over 50 years old accounts for a very small proportion. I don't know if they all died or were transferred to Qingzhou village and Zigua village. For Luo Ning, the more young adults here, the better. They can run Huetu village well without him having to transfer people to Shanlin town. In addition to the population, Huetu village has also built more fortifications, especially the place where Slain lives is really similar to a noble's castle. Although the area is a bit small, it has fence exterior walls made of wood, as well as solid towers and fortresses made of earth and stone. Without the intelligence and strategies provided by Jenny, it would indeed take some effort to lure Slain and others out to fight and capture this place. After arriving at Grey Earth village, under the arrangement of Redal, Luo Ning had lunch with everyone. When things here are over, he will return to Shanlin town, and all the houses in Huetu village will be handed over to Redal to manage. In fact, not only defense, but anything here can be left to him. In Luo Ning's heart, people with sun-level qualifications who are unlikely to betray him are worth cultivating. Let Rodel learn some experience in Huetu village now. When the territory expands in the future, he can be appointed as the frontier official. In fact, not only Rydell, but also Elrond and McCann can play this role. By appointing these 3 people, Luo Ning doesn't have to worry about them becoming bigger and stronger and starting to distance themselves from Wushan Castle like Orson did. Of course, Luo Ning only handed over the management of Grey Earth village to Rodel, not in fiefment. When he becomes a viscount or earl in the future, whether he will need to grant fiefs and titles to his followers is still a question worth thinking about. To be honest, he prefers centralization of power over enfeoffment. In the afternoon, under Redal's advance arrangements, Luo Ning met with all the residents of Grey Earth village as a noble and master, letting these people know who they needed to be loyal to. At the same time, Luo Ning has gained experience in Shanlin town, Qingzhou village and Zigua village. Now facing these new residents, he can naturally say a series of inflammatory words, which can not only calm the hearts of these people. The anxiety and uneasiness can also inspire some people's expectations and yearning for the future. In fact, the ideas of this group of people are not complicated. If the owner changes, as long as they are not sold, killed, and have food, everything else will be easy. As for whether he will work actively or be lazy and fish in the future, that is a matter for another day. Sir, this is where the ashes come out. After Luo Ning met with the residents, he went to the northeast of the village under the leadership of Redal. I did a brief survey and found that it extends from the top of this mountain to the north for several miles. If you dig a little 4 or 5 meters into the ground, you can see such clods of soil, which is what you call kaolin. During his free time in Huetu village these 2 days, Redao did a simple survey considering that Luo Ning was interested in Huetu. Although digging 4 to 5 meters deep is a bit difficult for ordinary people, he can still do it using his fighting spirit and long sword. In other words, this earth mine extends for at least several miles. Luo Ning looked at the top of the mountain. Although it didn't sound big, it had not been completely surveyed and there were still many uncertain factors. But in any case, the current level of kaolin is enough for Luo Ning's initial development. We will conduct a survey later when we have time to see what the length, width and height of this earth mine are. He ordered. Okay, sir. Redao learned from Jewett how much the Lord valued kaolin, but they didn't know the specific uses of this soil, and they were all curious. Sir, how are you going to use this soil? Are you going to make pottery? Luo Ning smiled mysteriously. If it is only used to make pottery, it would be a waste. Just wait and see, Commander, you can't imagine its value. Redao only felt that the young lord in front of him had endless knowledge hidden in his mind. I am afraid that the role of kaolin clay is another area that he does not know. Since this kind of soil is very important, we should protect it, so should we stop cultivating the wheat fields next to it? Luo Ning thought for a moment and said, let's stop this 1 mile from here. If there is no soil or involved, use the cultivated land if it can still be used. In addition, you arrange for a few people to pack a few more bags of kaolin, and I will take them back to Shanlin town for research. Luo Ning knew the general method of making porcelain, but there were still many problems that he needed to try to solve between knowing and making it. Once he has a clear path, he will establish a porcelain manufacturing base here and create a Jingdejun in another world. After I go back, I'll leave the affairs here to you. Luo Ning asked, I will arrange for people to come over to implement new farming techniques in a while, and you will cooperate with me. In addition, you can learn from the construction team, logging team, and dung collection team here. He said, pointing here, we can first build a batch of better quality houses near the kaolin veins. We will need them later. Luo Ning informed Ruodal of the next things to be done in Huetu village, and asked him to arrange people to follow the path of Shanlin town. The efficiency may be lower, but the basics must be there. In addition, there were 3 carpenters and 2 masons in Huetu village. Luo Ning left one of them behind and brought the rest back to Shanlin town. The carpenters were put into ironwood workshops and making plow shafts for the curved shaft plows, while the masons were brought back to Shanlin town to build houses. In any case, Shanlin town is geographically connected to the outside world, so there is no doubt that priority should be given to developing here. It's a pity that his territory has a population of 3,000, and the number of craftsmen is still very small. He can only ask these existing craftsmen to bring more new people. Luo Ning stayed in Huetu village for the next 3 days. On the one hand, he inspected the environment around the tribe, and on the other hand, he walked around more to stabilize people's hearts. In addition, he also spent a day traveling to the southeast of the village to spy on the black-collar tribe from a distance. As a place controlled by the Baron of Thane territory, the black-collar tribe was much more rigorous than the 3-party alliance. Before Luo Ning could reach the opponent's range, he discovered that there were several guard towers at a distance along the way, which should be to guard against sneak attacks by the 3-party alliance. With such a defense, and the fact that there must be stronger fortifications than those in Huetu village, it was very wise for Luo Ning to temporarily suspend the attack without the support of enough intelligence. He has now accumulated more than 200 points of energy essence. When he becomes a 4th-level transcendent, he can add more points to Rydal and McCann, so that their strength will be improved to a certain extent after they advance to the bronze level. At that time, when we attack the black-collar tribe, the difficulty will be much lower and the losses will be reduced. On October 2nd, Luo Ning started his return trip after completing his inspection of Huetu village. After returning to Shanlin town this time, in addition to recuperating and digesting the results of the battle, Luo Ning also needed to go to Wushan fort. It has been a month since his father, Earl Wiggins, was injured, so things should have been relatively peaceful in Wushanbao. No matter what, Luo Ning is always Wiggins's son in the eyes of outsiders. He can make up some excuses for going back to visit a month later, but delaying it any longer would be too much. Luo Ning had no intention of breaking off the relationship with the other party. Although the Wushan building is about to collapse, it has not yet collapsed. There are still many benefits to relying on the building. Moreover, Luo Ning has the blood of the Wushan family flowing in his body. No matter what he does, he cannot draw a clear line with Wushan. Wushan Fort is really going to fall, and I'm afraid it won't be good for him. So after returning to settle down a little this time, Luo Ning was ready to set off for Wushan Fort. Of course, visiting Wiggins is only one of the purposes. He can take this opportunity to see if he can get more resources for Hillwood Town, money, craftsmen, labor, etc. He needs them all. Thanks to Qinghe Sanren for the reward. Thank you, sir. Chapter 98-99 Visitors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No. Outside Zigua village, Horn and Jenny were riding on horses, looking at the direction in which the team was leaving. X.com, although they stayed in Zigua village, their daughter Irene followed the team to Shanlin town, although the distance between the two places is not far, and they can visit from time to time. This is the first time that Irene travels alone away from her parents. No matter which world they are in, parents have the same feelings for their children, and these two are no exception. Jenny quietly wiped the corners of her eyes and wiped away the tears she shed when parting. I don't know if it is a good thing to let Irene follow the Baron. Horn sighed and helped his wife wipe the tears from her face, but we have no other choice, right? That even though they were treated with courtesy by Luo Ning, unlike Wharton, Dandy and others in Qingzhou village who started from the probation period, even though Jenny offered suggestions and advice to successfully conquer the Grey Earth tribe, in the end they were still reduced generals. In addition, their previous identities were remnants and savages, so it was impossible for them to gain 100% trust from the Lord in such a short period of time. So when they faced Ronan's request to take away Irene, they had no reason to refuse. Horn said with relief, although the Baron has performed very well, he is only a 17-year-old boy. It can be seen that he loves Eileen very much. When I get along with him these days, he is always very kind and friendly. Kindness, I think he will be kind to Eileen. Jenny shook her head. Even if they sleep together, there will be a foundation of affection. But Luo Ning is always a scion of the Wushan family, and his marriage partner is either the daughter of a big noble, or the daughter of a wealthy conglomerate. Without exception, are people who can consolidate his position, but what do we have? She sighed, we are just ordinary second-level extraordinary beings. In her opinion, his daughter would definitely be abandoned from beginning to end, and in the end she might become Luo Ning's lover and raise several illegitimate children. After all, many nobles are like this. But our daughter is a 13-year-old magician. As long as she doesn't give up her practice, she will become a magician sooner or later. Horn's words were very confident. No one can despise a magician. What's more, we still have the opportunity to become high-level, or even go further. Don't be so pessimistic, Jenny. The Baron also attaches great importance to sericulture. As long as we do what he told us well, the future will be better. Jenny hesitated, but nodded slowly. Horn is right when he says that instead of being depressed and pessimistic, it is better to do what needs to be done. In fact, they really wronged Luo Ning. He took away Irene. On the one hand, it was indeed to make Jenny and Horn stop thinking and running around and do their jobs well. On the other hand, given that Irene has such a good magical talent, he really wants to take her out to see her, broaden her horizons, and cultivate her, things like sleeping in the same bed, falling out and abandoning each other, and even lovers and illegitimate children were all things that Jenny and Horn had made up in their minds because they regarded Ronan as an ordinary noble. Is Luo Ning an ordinary noble? No, he is not. He is a very principled nobleman. On the way back, Irene held Luo Ning's hand tightly, because among this group of strangers, the one beside her was the one she was most familiar with. She looked pitifully with her reddish eyes. Brother Luo Ning, you won't bully me, right? Of course not. He said righteously. Then you won't sell me to others, will you? Father said that young female magicians are very popular with slave owners. Luo Ning rolled his eyes. Why would Horn say such a thing? Did he regard him as a human trafficker? Don't worry, I won't. Then will you sleep with me? Aaron asked. What he said immediately attracted the attention of the guards and others nearby, but they only glanced at it, then looked at him, pretending they heard nothing. Luo Ning felt a little embarrassed and pretended to cough. No, I'm not interested in little girls. I'll sleep alone after arriving in Shanlin town. Aaron's eyes flashed, and she secretly thought that her mother was scaring her. In the past, when she wanted to be obedient, study hard and practice well, she would always scare her with the monsters on the mountain, but when she thought about sleeping alone, she hesitated. But I'm a little scared of sleeping alone. What should I do? I'll let Bella stay with you. Who is Bella? Your wife. No, Bella is my maid. Luo Ning understood very well how a little girl would feel when she left her parents for the first time, so he answered Irene's questions as he could, just to kill the boring time. The road back to Shanlin town was not fast, and because we did not start early, it was not until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon that everyone emerged from the woods and arrived at the northern boundary of the town. This is Shanlin town. Look, over there are orchards and vegetable fields, and over there are pastures for grazing. Luo Ning pointed to several areas ahead and introduced them to the girl in his arms, but received no response. He couldn't help but look down, but found that Irene had fallen asleep with her head tilted to one side. The road back to Shanlin town from Zigua village is not short, and in many places it is difficult to ride a horse, so you can only walk. Going all the way like this is indeed very unfriendly to Irene, a weak magician, and it is natural for her to be tired. He looked back at the team and saw that not everyone who went there came back this time. Except for the extraordinary ones, only 7 of the 27 guards came back, and the rest were left to Rudel to help the other party train the recruits recruited in the 3 villages. All 80 militiamen from Shanlin town were brought back. After all, they still had families and land here, so it was not appropriate to stay there. After returning this time, Ronan had already ordered McCann and David to select 30 good performers from these militiamen and train them as new guards. At the same time, during slack periods, militiamen should be organized regularly for training to strengthen their coordination and combat capabilities and prepare for future expansion. Let's go, everyone. If we don't hurry up, we won't have time left for Chahar to prepare a dinner for everyone. The team marched towards Shanlin fort in a mighty manner, naturally attracting the attention of many working people along the way. Wilson revealed intentionally or unintentionally that the people in the territory knew that the Lord had launched the clearing operation against the savage tribe for their safety, which made Luo Ning's image even taller. In addition, Wilson, who returned to Hillwood town 2 days ago, boasted, and the people knew that the Lord had defeated 3 savage tribes in a row and achieved an unprecedented victory, and they respected the Lord even more. Seeing the victorious Luo Ning, all the people cheered loudly and rushed to tell each other. When Ronan returned to the castle, housekeeper Chahar led all the servants to stand outside the castle gate. Master, your loyal servants, congratulations on your triumph. Led by Chahar, Galen and Bella all bowed deeply to Luo Ning. Aaron, who had woken up early, was stunned by such a scene. She felt that brother Luo Ning looked so impressive. Ha, I haven't seen Chahar for a while. How is the situation in the castle? Luo Ning walked into the castle with a smile, and the people behind him followed him through the drawbridge and gate one by one. Master, don't worry, everything is normal in the territory. The barley harvested this time has been almost dried, and most of it has been put into the warehouse for storage. Very good. Luo Ning smiled and said, to celebrate our return from victory, I will hold a dinner in the castle tonight. You go and notify Mrs. Bandali and ask her to get people ready. Okay, sir. Chahar followed step by step, but there are a few people who have been coming to Shanlin town for 2 days. They said they want to see you. I wonder when you are going to meet them. Oh. Luo Ning stopped and asked, who is coming? Chapter 99 100 is out of money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No. Luo Ning had visited the Silva Magic Energy Chamber of Commerce during his last purchase in Muma City. At that time, he made an appointment with Hook, the other party's salesperson, to come to Shanlin town to pick up and deliver the goods in early October. UX.com, Luo Ning didn't expect Hook to be so punctual. He actually arrived in Shanlin town on the first day of October when he said he was in early October. However, because Luo Ning led the expedition, outsiders were not allowed to enter Shanlin Castle without the permission of the Lord, so Hook and his companions lived in a temporary house arranged by Chahar for the past 2 days. Ha, dear Baron Ronan, long time no see. Hook, who was brought into the castle by Chahar, walked up enthusiastically and opened his arms to give him a hug. He had been traveling recently and couldn't sleep well, which really made him too tired. Fortunately, today the customer finally he was very happy to go home. Luo Ning gave the other party a brief hug and said, I'm very sorry, Hook. There is still a lot of unfinished construction in Shanlin town. You and your companions have worked hard these past 2 days. When he spoke, he glanced at the 2 knights behind Hook. If his guess was correct, they should be professional knights affiliated with the Silva Magic Chamber of Commerce, and their strength should not be weak. To be honest, Earl Wiggins is a little confused for you to live in such a dilapidated town. Hook didn't say any kind words, and the environment he lived in these 2 days was really not flattering. I heard that you defeated 3 savage tribes in this expedition. With your strength, you should have a better town, or even a big city, instead of condescending to this place. Luo Ning smiled slightly. Shanlin town is a good place. Although it is a little dilapidated now, it still belongs to the Wushan family's territory. This is also what I should make up for the mistakes I made before. I admire your mind. Hook bowed and returned to the topic. Sir, according to your agreement with me last time, I brought enough magic ink and magic beast leather. I wonder how much you need this time. Ronan only bought a month's worth of materials last time. Now he and Elrond have used up all those materials. If they want to make a spell scroll, they can only buy it again. Let's not talk about this matter for now. Ronan glanced at Elrond, who understood and quickly took out the spell scroll and placed it on the long table next to Hook. This is the spell scroll we made this month. There are 18 healing spells and 4 wind blade spells. Please count them. In so many productions, Elrond failed a total of 7 times. Although Luo Ning only failed once, he only made 5 pictures in total. If he made more, there would definitely be failures. When Hook walked over in surprise, and checked it with his people, he showed a satisfied smile after finding that it was correct. Mr. Elrond's abilities are amazing, Hook praised. You can make 22 spell scrolls in 1 month, your success rate is astonishingly high. He didn't know that the Wind Blade spell scroll was written by Ronan, and thought that Elrond was a dual-system magician. Facing such praise, Elrond felt a little guilty. He made a total of 25 times and failed 7 times, with a failure rate of 28%, which is quite high. However, he has now been promoted to a senior magician. If he makes a healing spell scroll, the failure rate should be reduced a lot. Sir, we have already counted the spell scrolls. According to the previously agreed price, we will pay you a one-time payment of 3. This 3, but even after removing the cost of 270 gold coins, Luo Ning still made a net profit of 97 gold coins. This amount of money sounds small, but it is enough to pay Luo Ning's salary for nearly 3 months. Now we can discuss what to buy from you. Although he really wanted to pocket all the more than 300 gold coins, he still needed to purchase them from Hook if he wanted to continue making spell scrolls. The other party came to Shanlin town in person, probably to sell more things. Hook smiled and said, when I come here this time, I brought you hundreds of bottles of second-level magic ink and dozens of pieces of the second-level Warcraft leather you bought last time. If you don't think it's enough, I can trouble you. Knight Coulter returns to Wrangler City to pick up the goods for you. Ronan looked at the knight he was referring to, and Coulter gave a knightly salute to Ronan. I'm always ready to serve you. It can be seen that Hook is very well prepared this time, but Luo Ning cannot eat so much, not to mention anything else. Just 100 bottles of level 2 magic beasts would cost plus the 3 gold coins just sold. The supply you brought this time is very sufficient, far exceeding my needs. Luo Ning did some calculations before reporting his needs this time. You can leave 55 bottles of second-level spell ink and 11 pieces of second-level magic beast leather. Excluding the spell scrolls I sold today, I still need to pay you 127 gold and 8 silver. This is the amount he has prepared for the next 3 months. He spread his hands and couldn't help but smile. Look, not only did I not make any money this time, I also took out hundreds of gold coins. Hook, the money-making ability of your Silva Magic Chamber of Commerce is really enviable. Ha, Lord Baron, this is to pursue greater profits, and the rewards you will receive in the future will be far more than this. Hook looked helpless and hard-working. We at the Silva Magic Chamber of Commerce are just running errands for you and people like Elrond Magician to earn some hard-earned money. Sir, please don't joke around. After some discussion, Luo Ning only had 35 gold left in his pocket. After this month's salary was immediately paid, he had less than 20 gold left. There is not enough money. Luo Ning felt a touch of sadness in his heart. Unless he sold the newly made spell scrolls next month, he would not be able to pay next month's salary. After all, after conquering 3 tribes this time, he has 9 more extraordinary people under his command, and there is also an intermediate magician with a very high monthly salary. After discussing the business, the atmosphere in the living room became more harmonious. Hook began to brag about Luo Ning's achievements in conquering the savage tribe, while Luo Ning humbly asked him what he thought of Hillwood Town in the past 2 days. Through the conversation, the 3 main feelings of the other 3 people were nothing more than 2 points. The mountain road was difficult to walk, and Shanlin Town did not provide decent accommodation conditions for the caravan, especially the latter. When they go to other towns, they have hotels. Regardless of the environment, they are at least more comfortable than the low, damp wooden houses in Mountain Forest Town. This also gave Luo Ning some inspiration. He still needs to start a face-saving project, at least to give the caravan a passable accommodation in Shanlin Town. Maybe he needs to build a hotel for visiting guests. As night fell, the castle in Shanlin Town resounded with the long-lost bustle. Today's dinner is to celebrate the victory of this expedition, and by the way, it is also a welcome to the 3 hookers. This is a good start, however, precisely because of the visit of outsiders. The news of Luo Ning's capture of the savage tribe is likely to spread. He must make plans in advance and put the trip to Wushanpu on the schedule as soon as possible. Chapter 101 Busy Days. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 101. Busy days. The banquets at Shanlin Castle are very simple. They are nothing more than eating and drinking. Unlike some nobles who have music and dancing, here there are only old men who cannot dance, so they can only focus on eating, drinking, and bragging. For this reason, Luo Ning paid for a pig, 6 sheep, a dozen chickens and ducks, and an unknown number of fish. Fortunately, the militiamen only took some food and went back to their homes. If they had participated, Luo Ning would have been destitute. Oh, by the way, Chahar has complained about the drinking problem in the castle more than once. Several barrels of sour beer have been consumed, and there are only less than 100 bottles of medium beer left. There is an urgent need for a winemaker in the territory. Otherwise, if there are a few more guests or a few banquets, the castle will have to spend money outside to buy wine. Faced with Chahar's complaint, Luo Ning could only agree. It was a pity that he was not very interested in wine, otherwise he would have remembered this incident last time he went to Muma City. After the banquet, Luo Ning took several buckets of baths comfortably. He had not taken a serious bath in the past 10 days since leaving Shanlin Town, not to mention how comfortable he was. Luo Ning, who had changed into loose clothes, returned to the study and saw Irene sitting on a chair nearby, holding a book in her hand and reading engrossly. Luo Ning glanced at the name of the book, walked over quickly, and closed the book. This startled Irene, who was concentrating on reading, but after seeing the person coming, Irene laughed in surprise. "Brother Luo Ning, it's over." "Well, it's over." Luo Ning responded with a smile, and at the same time calmly took the book back into his hand and put it on the bookshelf again. "This book is not suitable for you. I will choose a book suitable for you." Although the plot of this novel called Princess Fina's Secret Garden is acceptable, the male and female protagonists nibble together from time to time, and the description is quite in-depth, making it not suitable for little girls. Luo Ning picked a history book from the bookshelf and handed it to Irene. "Read this: A Brief History of the Empire More and gain insights." A brief history of the empire records the affairs of the Orland Empire, but unlike history books in the traditional sense, most of the records in it are miscellaneous things about the royal family and nobles, and even quarrels between two big nobles. All are recorded, although there is not much valuable information. At least it is more suitable for girls to read than a night novel just now. Eileen took the book doubtfully, her mind still stuck on the previous book. She asked in confusion, "Why is that book not suitable for me to read?" Knight Ivan is dueling for Princess Fina. Will he win? Of course he will win, and in the end he will live with the princess forever. Ronan smiled and revealed the story. "Okay Aaron, Bella has prepared a room for you. She is waiting for you outside. Don't keep her waiting too long." Aaron's attention was brought back from the book. "Okay, good night, brother." After saying that, he quickly left the study. Luo Ning shook his head helplessly, and then began to review the documents handed over by Chahar and Wilson on the table. This includes the production status of each team, the autumn harvest results of each village, and the food statistics of Shanlin town, etc. He looked at the latter too emphatically. The total amount of barley harvested this time is about 830,000 jeans, which is similar to previous years, excluding the seeds reserved for next year. If calculated based on the daily intake of 1 kilogram of staple food per person, it can support the people of Shanlin town for nearly 10.5 months. However, in fact, the staple food consumed by the serfs was less than 1 kilogram, which was often mixed with other black technologies, such as wild vegetables and the like. In other words, this much barley can fully support the people of Shanlin town until the wheat and barley harvest next year, so there is no problem in getting through the year. When fertilizer is available next year, planting techniques are promoted, and a lot of new fields are opened, there will be no problem with food. After breakfast the next morning, Luo Ning began his inspection on his cloud-taking horse. With his achievements and the consumption of attribute points accumulated by signing in recent days, he has now entered the stage of a third-level transcendent, level 3 senior knight, 3300, 3 senior magician, 0/400. Looking at the entire Shanlin town, Luo Ning's strength has already ranked among the top 3. Now he no longer needs anyone to escort him when traveling. At most, he can bring Chahar, who is in charge of the feces collection team, and Galen, who is running errands, as well as those who want to follow. Visit Aaron in Hillwood. The first stop for Luo Ning's inspection this time was the fertilizer base. This base was planned when Luo Ning established the manure collection team. The location was chosen in the northwest woodland near the pasture, which is far away from the living areas of the residents and also avoids water sources. Over the past few days, the construction team has set up a simple shed here. Although it looks rough, it can shield the rainwater and will not hinder the organic fertilizer in the mature stage below. When the Lord came to inspect the fertilizer base in person, the 10 slaves who were digging through the piles stood aside in fear. Apart from greeting the Lord at first, they didn't know what to say. However, the valet Galen kept urging Luo Ning to leave this place quickly. After all, as a nobleman, it was really beneath his status to come to this place to cheer him up. Irene had already pinched her nose. If she hadn't seen brother Luo Ning not leaving, she would have turned around and ran away. The excrement collection team had picked up excrement for so many days and transported it all to this place. The smell was naturally very unpleasant. If possible, Luo Ning wouldn't want to come over, but composting technology is still in its infancy and requires his personal guidance. "Sir, according to your instructions, we have piled useless hay, leaves, wheat straw and other things mixed with dung, and now these dung piles will be turned every 3 days. Chahar reported respectfully that he didn't like doing this job either, but he still completed Luo Ning's instructions meticulously. Luo Ning looked at the dozens of composting organic fertilizer piles in the fertilizer base and nodded slightly. When composting, remember to spread hay on top to keep it moist. Generally speaking, they need to prepare straw mats or cloth, but these 2 things are too wasteful to use here. It is okay to use hay temporarily." He walked to a compost pile and moved a little closer with his hand. The temperature was still quite high, indicating that it was still in the fermentation stage. Without a catalyst, this natural fermentation process will last a little longer, probably about 1 to 3 months. After the temperature of the compost pile has stabilized and the odor has dissipated, the fertilizer can be used. Luo Ning talked with Chahar and the members of the feces collection team about some problems encountered at work. Except for Chahar, most of the slaves did not dare to express it. Only a female slave named Maxin mentioned it. Some problems. I learned from Chahar that this woman is serious about her work, pays attention to details, and is not inferior to the man in strength, so Luo Ning assigned the other party to be the second person in charge of the fertilizer base and report to Chahar, which relieved the housekeeper's burden. After all, just the food storage in the castle requires a lot of energy to deal with, and later it also needs to coordinate the food distribution with the 3 villages outside. People like Chahar who have good literacy and numeracy skills will naturally play a greater role. After inspecting the fertilizer base, Luo Ning went to William's ironwood workshop and Callus's blacksmith shop to check the production of ironwood equipment and the construction of the curved shaft plow respectively. This time when Luo Ning returned from Huitu village, he brought back 2 carpenter slaves. Mutter, who was skilled in skills, was assigned to the ironwood workshop, mainly responsible for the production of ironwood armor. The less skilled ones were asked to help Callus and his son make the plow body of the curved shaft plow, and strive to build more curved shaft plows for each village before spring plowing. In the next few days, Luo Ning inspected the situation of each production team, and at the same time asked the political officer Wilson to organize the people in the spare time to cut down trees in the north and open up a road to Qingzhou village as soon as possible. Luo Ning does not need to pay these people to participate in the work, but unlike in the past, in order to stimulate their enthusiasm, Luo Ning allows half of the wood mined by the people to take home to repair their houses, or store dry firewood in preparation for the winter. He didn't want any of his people to freeze to death in winter. In addition, Luo Ning also made a special trip to Tong's mother Leah's tailor shop, observed her spinning wheel and loom, and made a modification design drawing based on it, and asked Pierre to make a model according to the pattern. A small spinning wheel. As for looms, most of them here use waste looms. Luo Ning wanted to build a foot-operated loom, which required more detailed design and experiments. He just told William, Peel and his slave Multa about the principles and simple structural diagrams, and asked the latter to first try it yourself. There are many trivial matters in the territory. For example, some conflicts among the territory's residents require him to arrange for mediation or trial. Some men and women of the right age who want to get married need Luo Ning's approval, and at the same time, they also need to collect wedding taxes. Luo Ning directly waived the wedding tax, which was not conducive to population growth, and replaced it with a day's work for free. After working for several days, he finally made all the arrangements. On October 8, Luo Ning took a few guards with him, traveled lightly, and embarked on the journey back to Wushan Fort under the early morning sunshine.